Okay, this is an introduction that's going to prepare us for 23 Psalm 90, because it's really pretty shocking about how Paul uses his meter. And I have to say it in connection with Psalm 90 so that you can appreciate the importance of the meter in Psalm 90. In the Tandem GGS series in part 10, I'm going through a similar thing, but I'm approaching that from the standpoint of Greek style, Greek writing style. The whole GGS series is Greek geek stuff, and it's about Greek writing style. And I didn't know until a couple of weeks ago that part of Greek writing style is to use Hebrew meter in Greek words. I mean, this is something scholars would kill to know. And why do I know it? Maybe because, I can play librarian and it saves the boys time. It's the only thing I can come up with as to why I know and they don't. Because, women are supposed to be good secretaries and librarians and stuff. And so I regard this as a librarian function, okay? So that the guys who have the authority and all the rest of it can save time in analyzing. So that's what I'm doing, is documenting like a good librarian should. So here we are. I want to call your attention to certain patterns here, and I made a quick, sometimes handwriting is much quicker than a computer. I did, this is a scan of a paper that I printed out and made notes on to show you where the meters are, so that in what follows you can test, maybe I missed something, as far as what this Bible Hebrew meter pattern is. The thing that's most notable about it is that it's piggybacking and palindromic. And I'm going to go over that right here with this. This is a printout. The handwriting is mine, but the printout is from the Psalm 90 in Hebrew doc, or the PDF file, which is PS90 parsed. It's page 8 of that. Okay. So now I'm going to go through this, and I just want to, repeat what looks like it should be obvious on the screen. I'm going to start at the right-hand side and move to the left. Okay. On the right-hand side, we have the thing that I've been talking about all along. Psalm 90 verses 1 through 4 is 84 syllables, and then the voting windows that Moses is, summarizing with each actor for a voting window. Follow next, verses 5 through 8 is the Adamic voting window. Verses 9 through 11 is the Noahic voting window. Verses 12 through 15 is Moses' own voting window, which all the rest of the Bible is going to play on. And verses 16 through 17 is at the time Moses is writing, the yet future post-Purim voting window, which spans from, at the end of it is 396 BC when Canon ended up getting completed. That's the 49 years of Daniel. And so you backdate 70 years from that. I want to say that's 496. No, it's not. 466. Okay? So it's this last 56 that Paul's going to play on. So that's why I have to use this video now to introduce you to the patterns, because Paul's going to use these same patterns. So just start with what you already know. On the right hand side you got 84, 70, 70, 70, and 56. Paul's going to key off that 56 at the bottom. Okay? But now we have to find out, we have to go back through what Isaiah was doing. And it gets a little more complicated, because what Isaiah is doing, see, the 56 in verse 17 here, right here, that is where Isaiah is going to pick up. That happens to be the period from this whole thing is closing at the year that God is rejected as king, and Samuel is accepted instead. Okay, so that's why that's so important. The Act 2 of this drama of history is picked up by Isaiah in Isaiah 52:13 with the birth of David. Okay, and then he goes chronologically, but you have to know what years he's leaving in ellipsis. I haven't recovered that yet. It's covered in this page. I talk about it, okay? In the pages prior to page 8, I cover what Isaiah says. But I haven't talked about it in the videos. He's going from the birth of the first David and ending with the death of the last David, who's Christ. Now, Paul is going to pick up at the birth of the last David, who is Christ. And he's actually using an Anno Domini accounting, which is just going to shock theologians once they figure it out. Okay? It's shocking me, anyway. So in order to make the bridge between what we got here, okay, and Isaiah, I've got to go through these other piggybacking so you see them. Alright, you got a piggybacking here. Alright, in verses 5 through 7 of the pregnant 49, the 49 missed sabbatical years. Okay, you got another pregnant thing going on here between verses 7 and 9. See, this is verses 5 through 7. Okay, this is verses 7 through 9 right here. Alright, that's 57 syllables. But it's piggybacked on, and this is what Isaiah focuses on, it's piggybacked on 56 syllables, which are verses 9 and 10. Okay. You see how this is working? We got a 49, and then that's part of a 70. It's very obvious the relationship between voting and the missed sabbatical years. Okay, as precedent, because this is the Adamic voting period. Okay, that's the Adamic voting period, and that 49 is in there. But piggybacked within it is the beginning of the 57. And the 57 is running right here. Okay, that's 57. And then that 57 is piggybacked on the 56, which is starting here. Okay. I'm not used to use the first time I've ever used this program, so pardon me if it's a little bit screwball. Okay? So that's a 56 right there, highlighted in red and blue. Alright, so that's another piggybacking, and then, of course, you've got all this, the 21s, the relationship of the 21s. You got a 21 here, okay? You got a 21 here, and they're all disparate. They're not contiguous. It matters if they're disparate or contiguous. And in every event, the content of the verse is being referenced, okay, by the writer. This is a rhetorical style, that they obviously are indexing to the syllables and expecting the reader to know what's the syllable count. And it's, it's kind of illuminating about how they memorize scripture in the ancient world. Okay? So here's your thing about the 21s, and Paul is going to really stress 21. Okay, that I'm not 100% sure all of what he's saying yet about it, but I will be. Okay, so there you go. So now, and then you have here 42. See how everything is nested within everything else? That's 42. And of course Matthew 1 plays on that. And of course we saw Isaiah 53 play on that in the beginning and ending of the chapter. Okay, but here again, palindrome. Here's 28, verses 11 and 12. Here's another 28, verses 12 and 13. So now we know why Isaiah in Isaiah 53, 9, and 11 is using two 28s. He's talking back to the content of these verses here, and he's treating them in a piggyback manner. So that's going to be very meaningful. And then we have another 56. Look at this. We have another 56, again embedded. Okay, wait a minute, I better start it over here. Oops, we gotta do higher. Okay, we have another 56 here. 14, 24, and 18. Is this cool or what? I couldn't make this up if I wanted to. I'm not smart enough. Okay, and we got another 56 here. So all of our 56s in Isaiah that I was, querying about. Wait a minute, my mouse is going off the chart here. Here's another 56. Okay, so here's the summary of them, and this explains why Isaiah's coming up with more 56s. Okay, just to summarize. Okay, and I put this in the video description so you can paste it to save yourself some time in writing. We got two 63s. Okay, here's another 63 I didn't talk about. Alright, we got two 63s. That's one of them in Psalm 90 verses 14 through 16. But then the other 63 is, I can't get the, right here. You see what's highlighted in blue? The other 63 are any three of the 21s you want to pick, whether it's in verse 4, verse 7, verse 8, or verse 16. And you'll be able to know which one is being referenced by the content. And Paul's going to use two of these 21s. Of course, that equals a 42, you know. But he's dividing them as two 21s rather than using a 42. So then it's going to be a question of knowing which of these 21s he's talking back to. Isaiah only uses 121 in the entire chapter 53, which is in the first three Hebrew clauses of Isaiah 53:7. So Isaiah is not focusing on the 21 parsing. He is focusing on the 28 parsing. So you got 28 here and 28 here. Okay, so summarizing, there are two 63s. The first one is in Psalm 90 verses 14 through 16. And then the second one is any three of these 21s. Okay, so those are the 63s to choose from, to notice why Isaiah is choosing 28, 35, 28 to have it be a palindromic 63. Okay, then there are two 42s to choose from. You got a 42 here, okay, in Psalm 90 verses 11 through 13, and then any two of, oops, I can't do this well, two of the 21. So it's any two of these. Alright, any two of them. Alright, now the other thing, of course, is that for the 42, you know, this is 84 here, and that's very definitely what Isaiah is doing, is splitting it in half. So you got the 42 at the beginning, because that's a decree, and you got the 42 at the end, and that's a decree. And Matthew especially picks up on that, because it's the decree to create. But they're also picking up on this 42. Alright, and they're also picking up on this 42, at least, you know, synonymally. Alright, and then, of course, you have four 56s, which explains why there are at least three in Isaiah 53. You got the 56 going in Psalm 90 verses 7 through 9. That's a 56 right here. Okay, that totals 56, see? 7 through 9, total 56. Oh, I can't get the mouse to work, of course. That's because it's about the Bible, don't you know? Okay, verses 7 through 9, that's a 56. That's the first one in order of presentation. The second one is verses 9 through 11, 9 through 10. Yeah, 9 through 10 is really obvious. That's the 21 and the 21 and the 35, see? So here's your second 56. All right. Your third one is in Psalm 90 verses 13 through 15. And that's playing here. All right. And then your fourth one is where we're, you know, our point of departure is in Psalm 90 verses 16 and 17. Okay, and you just heard the corrected translation on that, and you know, at that point when I was doing that video, I didn't do what I'm doing here. So I didn't see all the connections. Okay, and then we have two 28s, and they're palindromic. We got a 28 here. All right, you know, verses 11 through 12, and then we got another 28 here, verses 12 through 13. Okay, now, what the point is that once you know what these connections are, they're little indexes And when you see the same meter being used, since it's talking back to this passage, it's answering something that was said in this passage. In other words, when we're going to see Paul use 21s, okay, he's answering a 21-syllable clause, you know, because these are considered whole verses in the Hebrew even. He's answering the 21s when he uses 21. Just like Isaiah is answering this decree here by splitting it into two 42s, and he's also talking back to that as a 42, all right? And 11 through 13. 11 through 13 is what I just showed you, as a 42. All right? So the whole, and of course this is 42 also. I didn't even notice that until just now. That's a 42. All by itself. That right? 30, 30, 42. So, oops, there's another 42 that I forgot to mention. That's a fourth 42, and 14 and 15. So as you can see, maybe I have missed accounting for some of the totals. So this is what I came up with. If you see something more or better, I'm all ears. Okay? That's it. Signing off.